constituency boundaries. We asked one expert what this would mean for our region.
In Bristol, it may be very little change. In Gloucestershire, even less change. Wiltshire and Dorset and Somerset, quite a bit of change. The two Swindon seats are fine. They meet the new criterion because Swindon's been growing recently. But the North Wilts seat is too small. Devizes and Salisbury are too small. So there's going to be some, presumably North Wilts and Chippenham, there's going to be some change there, and then Chippenham with Devizes, then Devizes with Salisbury, and then Salisbury probably into Dorset. There will undoubtedly be there will be one cross-county border seat.
Confused? Well, let's try and clarify a few matters. Here in the studio is James Gray, the Conservative MP for North Wiltshire. Welcome along. What do you think about fewer MPs?
Well, I think that's a very good idea indeed. Politics costs far too much at the moment, and getting rid of 50 of them is great. I'd rather get rid of more, actually. Had I been asked, I'd have said, let's go down to about 300 or 400. That'd be terrific. Save a bit of money and give us all more to do. I think at the moment
what
we're
if they get rid of
overrepresented.
you? Would you still, if it was, there can be fewer jobs, effectively?
Well, I hope they won't get rid of me, and I hope the electorate will consider that I've done a good job over 15 years so far.
Would there be a seat for you in the changes?
What your learned professor was suggesting was there will be one fewer seat probably in Dorset and Wiltshire together. We don't quite know where that's going to be. It may well be some reshuffle with Chippenham or something. It may be I'll go back to my old boundaries that included Chippenham and lose Carl. Who knows? I don't know. I wouldn't mind either way around. Wiltshire's a pretty conservative place, so no matter what happens, I hope very much that we'll return 4 or 5 Conservative MPs for the area.
What's the rationale for the cut, though, apart from saving a few bob?
Well, if you look at some of the big cities and also places in Wales and Scotland, you find that MPs represent 35 or 40,000 people. I, at the moment, represent 69,000, and the average over England after the change is going to be 75,000. Now, we think it's unfair that some MPs represent a small number of people, others represent more. We think it should all be 75,000 plus or minus 5%, and that's what brings it around.
How do you make this fair? How do you make it reasonable for the voter, and you don't gerrymander for one party or another?
Well, very important, it shouldn't be gerrymandered, and that's why it's being done by an independent body, the Boundaries Commission. They look at it, they go around the country. The political parties have absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever. I think in September, October this year, they'll bring forward their proposals. There's a 6-week consultation process, and after that it becomes law. So it can't be gerrymandered under the law, and I think that's a very good thing.
One of the concerns seems to be if seats cross county boundaries, so say there was a seat which crossed Somerset and Wiltshire, then the MP wouldn't be able to bat for one particular county at Westminster.
I feel uneasy about that, and the Boundary Commission, quite interestingly, put out a piece of paper last week which said that so far as possible they were going to pay attention to local government boundaries. In other words, it would just be Wiltshire. But they are nonetheless bound by the law. It has to be 75,000 plus or minus 5%. And if they can't do that within the boundaries of Wiltshire itself, then they're going to have to go over the border, probably down into Dorset, probably find that Andrew Murison takes his seat down into a bit of North Dorset, possibly, or some such thing. Unfortunate, but I think it's necessary under the law.
Okay, let's just talk about the cut